This is a conversation with Nugget. He is the host of the Breakfast Show at Radio 1 UAE and has hosted the Breakfast Show at Dance FM 97.8 in the past. He's a radio jockey and a podcaster. In this episode, in which he tried his best to discuss every single topic on earth, we also end up discussing growing up in Detroit, Michigan, working on radio and podcasting, his favorite foods, dating and relationships, and how he got the name Nugget. This is no time. If you like what you see, then do subscribe on YouTube. It's just one click for man, a giant click for anyway. Or follow this on Spotify or rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. This project continues to take a lot of my time, money, and effort. So if you like to see it continue, do consider supporting it on Patreon. For other forms of love and support, you can follow this channel on Instagram or Twitter or follow me personally. And now, it's no time. Knock knock.
Are we on? Are we starting it like that?
We are.
Who's there?
Nugget.
Oh, Nugget who?
I know get why you would eat 52 nuggets in one meal.
Yeah, man. It's the thing is that we were watching, it was Monday night, we were watching Laguna Beach, and there's this show called Laguna Beach that used to be on MTV, and they acted like it was a reality show, but it was scripted. And so we would watch that, and it was just me and the guys watching this show, and the guy that I was interning for, we just started talking trash about how much we could eat, and then I was like, let's order some chicken nuggets. I'll eat more than you right now. And he ordered the nuggets, and then so I beat him in this chicken nugget eating contest. He was 350 pounds, so 158 kg, and ever since then, he was like, well, we're just going to call you Nugget. And he called me that on the air, on the radio. And so from then on, that was kind of my radio name, and I can't escape it now.
How many did you eat?
I had 72. He had 69.
Is that the most amount of food you've eaten in one?
No.
There's more?
I've probably had way more than that. I am notorious. A lot of people make fun of me because when I go out to eat, I'll order 2 mains and then go, all right, cool, let's have dessert now too. And people are just like, you have a problem. But I don't think I have a problem. I think I'm just American. I think that's just what we do.
All right. Before the nuggets, you also had like a Wendy's shake as well, right?
Yeah. I had the nuggets, and then I had a large Frosty before the nuggets started. And that's what made it even harder.
I would imagine the shake is harder than the nuggets. Actually.
Yeah.
I can't.
The dairy alone is too much. You can't really digest it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. That's insane. And that's not even that was on you on an easy day, I think.
Yeah, and I was a lot younger too, and so I think that like I tried to do it again later on in life, maybe 2 years ago, and I couldn't eat as many, and it also really took a toll on me. I had to take a nap, and I couldn't really speak to anybody for the rest of the day, and so it's crazy how just getting a little bit older will just ruin your life and make it so you can't do basic things like eat a meal.
Yeah,
without feeling like you need to sleep.
Yeah, age, right? It's wrecking all of us.
How old are you?
Yeah. How old do I look? Let's take a guess.
Probably, man, I would say maybe 27. Probably 27 or 45.
Too many summers have passed since the age of 27. But
how old are you?
No, actually 27 this year.
Really?
Yeah, good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were either way younger than I thought or way older. And so I was like, yeah, this guy's a young guy. 27, that's a good age, man.
But this is when the age starts creeping in now.
Yeah, that's when, if you have a late night out, it starts. I remember 28 is when my nights out would affect me for 2 days instead of 1. That's when it happened, and then it became not as rewarding to go out.
Yeah, the days of my youth are beyond me. But speaking of which, I would love to talk about your youth. So you were born in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
In the 313.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You know the area code?
Eminem. Just blame it on Eminem.
So, yeah. Should I get all the Detroit stuff out of the way?
Yeah, let's get it.
I don't know Eminem.
Okay.
I don't have a gun. And I have been to 8 Mile.
Do you like Coney dogs?
Yeah. I'm surprised. Wow. My mind is blown that you know. How do you know all this stuff?
Well, it's just basic. We've got a lot of interns that are working on the show that research.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, there's a guy from Detroit coming in, and there's like, on it, sir. And then
Stop. No, you're messing with me.
No, there are a lot of interns actually.
Really?
Yeah, big crew.
Stop.
Yeah, really.
It's just you. No, come on, stop it. You and your
they're not hiding here.
Okay.
One is in the closet.
Yeah, why don't you let them be part of the show? Are you
No.
just like, no, get back in your closet?
Yeah, it's all me. It's a one-man show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
They can never be seen.
I'm bad at this already.
So let's get with Detroit first. So, what are some of your favorite childhood memories? I know you moved around quite a lot, but if you're just talking about, let's say, Detroit or Chicago or New York, what are some of your favorite memories from growing up in America or things that get you nostalgic about it?
Uh, in Detroit, I had this really close group of friends that I had in Detroit, and we worked at this banquet hall. So we would work for weddings, and we would be servers for weddings on a large scale. And we'd get done with work at maybe 2, sometimes 3 in the morning, and then after we would go to a Coney Island, and we'd just get some breakfast at 2, 3 in the morning, and that was probably those were some of the best nights of my life, and I feel like I've kind of been chasing that and chasing that type of friend group since then because they were the funniest people, and I just remember it being really difficult to find people after that group of friends that would really make me laugh. And I found it again when I got like a radio crew. They make me laugh, but it's so weird how I'm just not entertained by people the same way that I was by my childhood friends.
It's a very interesting thing you bring up because I always think about the things that I liked in my childhood, and few elements that I revisit, I don't like them as much anymore than as an adult. And I try to think whether I was viewing it with like those rose tinted glasses, but because it was my childhood, so I placed more happiness to it. So I'm not sure, whether I was actually, I mean, they were better or not, or it was just like me being nostalgic about my childhood.
Yeah, I think no, I think it was better. I think it's because now once you get old, you get this weird brain fog that happens throughout the day, and I don't think you had that when you were a kid. And so I think that just makes your life better. I think it just makes every experience a little bit better because you don't feel like you want to take a nap at 2 o'clock every day.
Yeah, yeah. While we're on Detroit, I also want to check with you, what is Ghettotech?
What is Ghettotech?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you really have people that look
It's
this
a
stuff up?
it's a big crew.
Ghettotech, I I think started in Detroit. Yeah, I would say Detroit is one of the birthplaces of techno and EDM. They even have a huge EDM festival called Movement, I think, every year, and that's a huge deal. And ghetto tech is this genre of techno that only exists, as far as I know, in Detroit and maybe a couple other cities scattered around the US. It is So it was very popular when I was growing up around maybe 2003 to 2008, and then it kind of died off. But it's pretty much just somebody saying something inappropriate over a kind of a drum and bass beat. So, perfect example. You know what song is Ghetto Tech? Is the song they sample in WAP by Cardi B. That song they sample where it's like there's some hoes in this house. That
Excuse me, kids are watching this show.
Sorry, kids. That is a sample from a Ghetto Tech
All right,
track.
right.
So that's crazy to me that was sampled. So that is Ghetto Tech.
So it's like one line that they're repeating over a beat.
And then drum and bass kicks in, and then
Oh.
sometimes it changes a little bit. There's a lot of Ghetto Tech remixes, but it's this crazy genre that popped up in Detroit, and it's very unique. It's because it's like hip hop meets techno.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So where do you stand on it?
I love it. I think it's the greatest thing. I wish it would come back. Every DJ that I meet
Yeah.
in the UAE, I always try to show it to them and get
Yeah.
it like, hey, can you bring this back and make some tracks? And none of them I've tried to hit up. There's who did I hit up? I hit up Dane Bowers and I was like, hey man, play these Ghetto Tech tracks. And I was talking to this DJ duo called Apollo Breach and
Right.
this guy named Joe Mango, this dude named Jay Gray. I hit up just everybody I knew out here. I think I got to interview Joel Corey and I asked him if he would start doing Ghetto Tech. Nobody is down. Nobody is down to do Ghetto Tech.
Well, Cardi B might make it popular again. Hopefully.
I feel like
Yeah.
people don't even realize that was a sample from a Ghetto Tech song.
Yeah.
They probably just think she made it up.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Very frustrating.
Okay, one more question based on Detroit. So, do you prefer the Detroit or the Chicago style pizza, or do you prefer Dubai's Manakeesh?
That's interesting that you're comparing the Manakeesh to the pizza.
Kind of the same.
It's
same
not. How dare you? Detroit style pizza. I don't think there is a such thing as Detroit style pizza because it's just worse. It's just worse deep dish. It's like Chicago style, but they're not committed to it. So it's just like, hey, it's like we almost did Chicago style pizza. Do you know what it is? Are you familiar with it? Have you ever
I've had deep dish.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that, but not as good.
You're
It's
alienating my fan base from Detroit. Right
oh,
now.
sorry about that.
They're all
They
switching
know
off.
it's true. It's just it's good. It's good, but it's just like just just have deep dish pizza, like real Chicago style. It's like you know what it is? It's like a pan pizza is kind of Detroit style, but not they do it. A lot of them do it square. So like Buddy's is a good example of a Detroit style pizza. Uh, but it's just not. I don't know. I don't like
What's
it.
lacking? What are they missing?
The the commitment to a style.
The love.
Detroit just isn't a style. Chicago is deep dish.
Yeah.
New York is the thinner.
Mhm.
And Detroit is like, let's do in between. And it's just not, I don't know, it's fine, but it's not my go-to. If it was good, it would be a thing everywhere. But you don't hear about Detroit style pizza anywhere else. You hear about Chicago style and New York style. And even Chicago style, you don't really get outside of Chicago.
Yeah, well, I just thought it might be one of those things where it's local, it's famous locally, but then people don't know outside.
Compared to Manakeesh, it's not. I'd much rather have a Manakeesh, but not. You can't put pizza toppings on it. When places try to put pizza toppings on Manakeesh, I'm like, you need to stay in your lane. Put some za'atar on that thing.
Yeah, just the simple ones: za'atar, cheese, labne. Just
Yeah.
like those.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you were growing up, did you always want to be in radio, or you had something else in mind?
This is all I knew how to do. I know how to do. It's when I was in high school, we had a TV in every classroom, and I would do the morning announcements on the TV. And from there, I guess I thought I wanted to do TV. So I went to broadcast school, and they have you do a semester of radio and a semester of TV. And what they do is let you, after you do that, you pick which one you want to focus on. So I thought I was going to do TV, but then I saw how stressed out the TV people were. I'm going to do radio. And then I got an internship on the radio. And from then on, I was like, well, I'm in it now.
But you could be on the TV. I mean, the industry joke is that people don't. You got a face for radio, if you got a face for TV. You got
I've
a face
never
for
heard
TV.
that before.
No, but you've actually got a face for the TV. I've got the face for the YouTube podcasting.
Yeah.
Spotify
It's a
podcasting.
solid middle ground.
Yeah, not in the middle ground, like the bottom tier. So, but you didn't want to go into TV, maybe just because of stress.
Damn it.
Well,
I messed up my helicopter.
it's the tension of
Oh,
TV. It's
all
already
right.
getting to you.
Yeah, it's I guess I did some freelance TV stuff when I was in the US when I was unemployed for a little while, and that was cool. TV is too scripted for me. It's too they're just so micromanaged. I feel like one of my best friends does TV, and they are watching his social media, and he could post something on his social media that could get him fired. Whereas the stuff that he posts that he worries about, if I posted it on mine, I might get a raise. It's just a different world, and I don't like the idea of that much restriction. And I don't like the idea of having to wear a suit to work every day. I like wearing my pajamas to work if I can.
Why do you think that is? Is it because more people are watching television? Is that why it's more micromanaged?
No, it's because I think they have to report on hard news. And so when your job is when it's a light news day and you're talking about like, oh, Mrs. Johnson baked the world's biggest cookie down the street, I think it's easy for you to be cool and laid back and make some jokes. But the people watching you joke around are the same people that have to watch you report on murders and things like that. And so if you want them to take you seriously, you gotta draw a line somewhere. And you don't have to do that in radio because the listening is more passive. And also you're doing more of a show, and we're playing songs like we're playing Justin Bieber. Nobody is expecting to hear hard news from us. And so it gives us a lot of freedom because we play some music that you're not going to be listening to WAP and then go, all right, now I got to make sure I listen after WAP so I can hear about the latest news on COVID. It's not going to be and now we do that. I do that on my show. We give updates like that because we want to be local, but it's not like if you didn't hear it, you'd be like, well, what? Why aren't they talking about the latest COVID number? So I wanted to hear it after I heard my WAP. And so I think that's the difference.
Interesting. Learn something new every day.
There's news talk shows on the radio.
Yeah.
And they're held to the same standard.
Right. So just the nature of what you got into. So you went into broadcasting, you were working in the US, and then you applied to Dubai as a joke. And
Yeah,
you
yeah. It it was really funny. I went into my boss's office so in the US there's this website called allaccess.com that you use to apply for just about every radio job. And I saw this posting for a Dubai presenter job. And I was like, you know what? And I was perfectly happy at my job. I was about to buy a house. I really enjoyed it there. And I saw this posting and I was like, why not? I'll just send my stuff, not expecting to hear anything back. I even went into my boss's office
sorry, I
after.
don't want to I just want to cut you off. Just want to ask, what do you think of Dubai at that point? What was your
I didn't
impression
know
of it?
anything about it
Nothing.
at all.
Okay.
I didn't even think. I was with my co-host and I was like, I'm gonna apply for this Dubai job. See you later. And we laughed about it. And I went into my boss's office and I was like, you see that Dubai opening? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, I sent my stuff, so see you later. And we all had a big laugh. And then a couple months
Yeah.
later, I had to go in there and tell him that I got it. And it was significantly less funny when I told him the second time.
But you were considering it at that point.
I was definitely gonna go because
Yeah.
they had offered me the job. I had been sending them my audio, and I wanted to come out here and do this before I got too old to do something like this.
So that was what attracted you to Dubai. It was the
Yeah, it's just that it's just an opportunity that if I didn't do now, I would never be able to do it. So
So when you landed in Dubai, what was your first impression? You were based in Memphis, Tennessee, San Antonio, Texas, New York, Chicago, Detroit. You've been in all these big cities, and then
Yeah.
you come to Dubai. So what was your?
well, Dubai's a big city.
Yeah, Dubai's a big city
Yeah,
as well,
Dubai's huge.
but way different. So what was your first impression of it?
It is different, but it's the same in a lot of ways. It's like what's interesting to me is how people are on their best behavior in Dubai, it seems like, as far as your day-to-day interaction with people, except for on the roads with traffic, obviously. But if you bump into somebody on the grocery store, there is very little chance that might start a fight with you. You are not worried about that. There are some cities in the US where you might be in danger of getting in a fight at the grocery store. Just look at Black Friday sales. People will fight each other during Black Friday to get to these sales. And that is not something you have to be concerned with in Dubai because you will get fined or go to jail or both.
Yeah, no one's on the best behavior at Emirates Road or Sheikh Zayed Road for sure.
Right. That's
Yeah.
different. But even here, I mean, people are terrible drivers everywhere. So that's nothing different. Dubai is the thing is the US has a lot of different cultures and you meet a lot of different people. And so that wasn't different. Out here, you know what I would say? The working culture is a lot different. There's way more lazy people that have jobs here than anywhere else in the world that I've ever experienced. I mean, there are people who must just be getting paid to I don't even know. I guess just browse the internet and watch YouTube videos because there are people that hold positions here where I'm like, how do you guys have jobs? How do you guys have jobs? There's got to be somebody who would be more productive that would do this work. So that was different. And that was hard for me to get used to because I'm used to people wanting to work.
This is why I don't pay my interns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah,
Just be happy you're in Dubai.
yeah. Okay, so you got the job, you moved here, and you took up the breakfast show at Dance FM 97.8,
Yes.
and currently you host the breakfast show at Radio 1.
Yes.
So, what are some of the most challenging aspects about being on radio that not many people know about?
It is dealing with there's a lot of different personalities. So everybody in radio, we all have egos, but we're all really fragile at the same time. So here we all walk around like we are just the coolest ever. But then at the same time, you could say one little thing to us and we just fall apart. So any little criticism and we're just really touchy. But at the same exact time, we'll walk around and like, all right, everybody look, I'm here now. We could start the party. That type of personality. But at the same time, being so sensitive that if somebody was just like, hey, I don't like your show. I had somebody when I was out tell me, and I think they might have even been half joking, but they told me that they didn't enjoy it when I talked during my part of the show where I was speaking, and they only listened for the other person. And it really, I left the bar. I was like, I'm going home. Yeah, it really affected me. And then at the same time, on Instagram bragging about how dope I am. And so it's this weird combination that I don't want to say all radio people. I just notice a lot of people in the entertainment industry have that weird combination of of ego but still being fragile.
Do you think it's correlated that a lot of, let's say, comedians, actors also insecure, and they go towards job that give them that validation and likes or people's approval or compliments?
Yeah, I think for some, yeah, for I can't really speak about comedians because from so I did stand up for a couple years and not very good at it at all. But the comedians that I met, they all had kind of way different personalities. But I think you're right. I think probably some of them have that.
See, interesting. One of the things I used to think that was the hardest part about being on radio is that you have to convey so much with just your voice. You don't have the one dimension to show people. I feel like if you're in a movie, then maybe I can convey something with just my face and I can emote sadness, for example. But you just have your voice and you have to come across as someone's friend, very happy, excited. You have to get your viewers engaged as well with just that dimension. Would that be a fair
Yeah, that's
thing?
true.
Okay.
But it makes it so you can be a lot lazier because you don't have to worry about the visual part
Yeah.
until now because of social media, radio has become a lot more visual. Like we put up on Radio One, we put up little videos of us talking on the air
Yeah.
all the time on Instagram.
Now you need to wear a suit.
Yeah,
It's
it
come
just
back.
yeah. And today I did one today and I look so tired.
All right.
And I'm just like, man, why do I have to look good for these? So thank goodness there's filters. But yeah, it's more visual now. But before it used to be like you could. I would say before maybe 2014, everybody I knew on the radio was super ugly, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, now you got to be good looking too to do this job, man.
This is why I got into radio.
Yeah, it's like, man, no room for ugly people anymore. And that's kind of sad because it was one of these mediums where you could be an entertainer and be gross. So it's disappointing because I was letting myself go and I've had to kind of go back to the gym and take showers more often now.
All right. Well, everyone's got their own struggle story.
Yeah. What's
So,
your job? What do you do? What's your job? Is this your job?
see, Nugget, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to ask the questions. You're
Are
going to
you not?
answer.
Are you not gonna? You can't talk
No,
about your
of
job.
course we can. What do you think I do, actually? Let's take them.
This reminds me of when you're on a date and the woman doesn't want to tell you her age,
Yeah, I'm playing hard to get.
and so she,
Yeah.
not that you would ask her age anyway, but what do I think you do? Based on the apartment and how you're dressed, I would say you are the CEO of a thrift store in the US.
Yeah. This is. I think I should just give you another clue. This is not my apartment.
Oh, it's not?
So,
Whose apartment are we
yeah,
in?
it's my friends.
You're
Yeah.
kidding. Where do
Yeah.
you live?
I'm far away from here.
In
So
Dubai?
there's no trace of me, right? You come back here, you want to meet me again, and I'm not here.
We're in Dubai though?
Yeah, in Dubai, yeah.
Oh,
Motor
okay.
City, the heart of Dubai.
Oh, I like there's a little cafe over there that I like next to that chicken place. Next to Nando's.
All
Friends
right.
Cafe.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's my spot.
Oh, that's your job.
What do
Yeah.
you do? What's your job? Was I right?
Well, no, because I think you're basing it on the room.
Yeah,
and
now I don't know at
now
all.
you don't
So
know.
what's
Now you
your-
just have my face to go with. Well, the stats say that every young Indian male, 1 out of every 3 young Indian males is an engineer. So
is that what you are?
yeah, so I was into robotics, so that's what I studied in university, and then came back here, was building these technological systems like VR, AR, all these new things, drones, robots. Yeah.
And then you were like, there's not enough of my personality in this.
Well,
So you decided to start podcasting.
Yeah, no, not because. Well, I was turning more of a robot while working with robots. It's like the work you do seeps into you, and so, yeah, that's what I do.
So you're an engineer. Is the stereotype true that a lot of engineers aren't fun to talk to?
Well, you tell me, right?
I mean, I don't know that many engineers. You seem normal.
I'm the first engineer that you've met, so
No, I mean, not. I'm sure I've met other engineers, but not that I remember. Are you? So what's your?
carrying the weight
When
of
you
all the
hang
engineers.
out with other engineers, are you like, oh, this is so great, or are you dreading it?
We just talk in ones and zeros.
Do you?
It's just like, oh, did you have fun? Can't emote. I've never actually thought of it that way because I've been surrounded by a lot of engineers. In fact, like I told you, so when I was growing up, actually among us, it was like you can either be an engineer, doctor, or lawyer. That's
Right.
usually the thing. So a lot of my friends are engineers or in the tech field. They didn't end up doing that now. They maybe not
Oh.
working as engineers now. I continue doing that because I liked robots. I felt like they match my personality. But yeah, I think engineers are just. I think they have a very different sense of humor. It's more of the the Reddit type of humor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very niche. I think.
I'm not
And
good at that.
uh,
I'm not good
right.
at like the written stuff. I'm not good at Twitter and Reddit type
Yeah,
things.
I think they're better at that. I mean, this is obviously a generalization. I've met.
What do you do with robots? Are
mm,
you do you feel like they're taking over the world?
Well, all these questions I'll answer on your podcast. I've got a lot of
You want me to
questions.
have you on mine?
Well, yeah, why not?
Can you come to Abu Dhabi?
Oh yeah, definitely. Do I need the test?
I don't know how it works if you're coming from Dubai. I think it's easier to come from Dubai to
I'll
Abu
get the
Dhabi.
vaccine and come. Don't worry, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, it's a very interesting one, right? About whether robots will take over the world. Well, I think maybe in 10, 20 years, we will be working with some form of a hybrid.
Like an artificial intelligence type thing?
I mean, if you really think about it, you plus your phone is already like a,
Artificial,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like a cybernetic being, right?
Do you think it'll be like Terminator?
No, not like Terminator was a bit just more of Arnold in it.
That wasn't too bad.
Oh,
That was a
yeah. I've
decent
been
impression.
for the last 20 years. I've been working on my Arnold impression.
Well, it's
Get
paid
out of
off.
here! Get out! Open the door. There's a bomb in there.
That's not bad at
Yeah.
all.
Thank you. Get me a job on radio.
Very impressed.
I am. But you were asking the questions about me, which is why. But the point is about this robot thing is, I actually believe that. Well, you with your phone nowadays, if you want to look something up, you can just do it. And what Elon Musk says is that you've just got a delay. In fact, you plus your phone is a very high level of intelligence where you can do maths, you can look things up, you can translate things. So what he's trying to do with his Neuralink thing is he's just trying to put your phone inside your brain itself, and then you become this
That's
half
insane.
robot, half human. Yeah.
That's insane.
I-
Yeah, this is it's gonna be a weird time, man. I'm
Yeah.
really worried about it. I feel like we should just take a couple steps back. When you're
We should,
engineer,
yeah.
when you're making a robot or something like that, it's like, I feel like engineers don't think about how it's going to affect things. I feel like they're just looking at their project and they have a goal to accomplish, and they're just worried about, which is fair, but it's really interesting to think about. Oh, there might be some consequences to this invention that I'm coming up with.
I think you're right. And what I think honestly happens is we are more excited about what we're creating and we just feel
Yeah.
like we're innovating something. But what ends up happening is your product becomes bigger than what you ever thought it would be. So Facebook, Twitter, for example, they've become these giants that Mark Zuckerberg just created like this half dating app that he wanted to rate women on. And then now it's become this politically motivated platform. So that's what ends up happening. And you've seen in all the movies as well. They make a robot to just do something and then it ends up taking over the world. So I
Yeah.
think that's the mistake they're making. But with Google, they're actually now employing philosophers because there's very tough questions that are coming into handling like a search engine that has got everyone's thoughts and preferences in it. So that's where the future is. So I think now with tech, you will have a lot of integration of sociology, a lot of historians will come into play as well, and a lot of philosophers as well.
Oh, yeah, that's probably smart. That's good. Google thinks of everything, man. I would be
Yeah.
fine if Google ran the world.
Maybe they already are.
That's a really good point. All right, sorry, I'll stop asking you questions.
Okay, so we're on radio, and what I was asking you is, I feel it's pretty hard that you need to convey so much with just your voice, and I've got this game here. It's a voice acting game. So I'm going to give you one sentence, and I'm going to give you a bunch of emotions, and I would love to hear the same sentence in those different emotions, and let's see how it comes out.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So the line is, "I know you like to think your shit don't stink," from one of your favorite songs.
Thank
Roses.
you.
Yeah, by Outkast.
Yes.
And your first emotion is, this is the most common one, happy.
I know you like to think your shit don't stink.
Right. Excited.
I know you like to think your shit don't stink.
Sad.
No, you like to think your shit don't stink.
Angry.
I know you like to think your shit don't stink.
Seductive.
Hey, girl. I know you've been thinking about your shit. And I hope you're not thinking that it stinks, because it doesn't. It makes you look sexy.
Disgusted.
Oh, I know you like to think your shit don't stink.
Last one. Well, this one wasn't in the list, but I think I'll just add it in. Constipated.
Oh, God. I know you like to think your shit don't stink. Oh.
Amazing. If we had a studio audience here, you would be getting a standing ovation.
Thank
This
you.
is
Do you think I'll get hired for acting from that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was art. what we just read.
I'm really glad that this could be part of it.
Yeah, I really liked it. One of the things you mentioned in the past is that you don't take a lot of live calls in this region because there's always a risk of you're not sure what might happen on air.
Yeah, and some people are connected to their Bluetooth in their car, which is understandable, and they should be. And so sometimes that makes the quality sound so bad that it's not airable. Sometimes they cut out. Sometimes they will swear. Sometimes people don't speak English as a first language, and so a lot of times we'll be speaking, and they just need some time to process what we're saying because we're speaking. I try to do my best to speak at a reasonable pace so that people can understand what I'm saying. But I've got two co-hosts that are Brits, and there's some Brits that I have a hard time understanding. So I can't imagine somebody whose first language isn't English. Uh, so there's just a bunch of obstacles that make it so we're so much better off recording the phone calls. Also, there's some people that think that they are better storytellers than they are. And they'll tell these stories that have a lot of what I've noticed is people like to include every line of dialogue that happened in a story. And I'm guilty of it too sometimes. I think we're all guilty of thinking that we're more interesting than we are. And so people will tell stories sometimes that just they take a really long time to get to the really good part because they'll have a really awesome story, but just take a long time to get there. And we don't have that long to keep people's attention before they'll change it to another station. So sometimes that needs editing. And so yeah, we pre-record a lot of the stuff. I've taken live phone calls before. Don't tell my boss that, but I've taken some live ones and just rest it. And
So you like it? You like the thrill of anything goes? Obviously, it's risky in this region, but let's say if you were based somewhere else, you would prefer taking
before I
live?
got here, I took all my calls live
Right.
at most places. Uh, Once I got more experienced, I think so. Everywhere in my last job in Memphis, Tennessee, I took a lot of live phone calls. But before that, I would still play it safe even then.
Right. When you were talking about people not knowing how they speak or whether the stories are as interesting in the head and how it sounds like, I want to ask you, have you actively worked on removing these filler words? Because I feel when you speak, there's no ums and no ahs and no like. Is there something you concentrate on? Or is it just something that came naturally to you?
I'm not that good at it. I always work on it. And what I have instead of the filler words is I just have different filler words. You just don't notice them as much because they're not the general. Americans always do the like, and they do. I'm still bad with the like, and the ums. I go for quite a bit. I go for that, and I go for there's some awkward silences I could probably get rid of, uh, but it's tough. It's tough to remove those filler words because I don't know, man. Your brain just doesn't work that fast sometimes, especially when you're trying to tell a story. So they just help so much. You know what? Uh, I've seen some people do, which I really like. Barack Obama does this thing where he goes, anyway, that's what I was. And I
American
like
people.
that. I think that's a smooth move to stop yourself from saying. Yeah, it's not easy though. Do you find you say and a lot on the podcast?
I mean, I don't expose myself, but yeah, actually,
When you listen back, are you like, oh no?
yeah, whenever I'm listening back, I'm like, oh,
We all feel like that though.
yeah.
There's
I think it's helping though. I think just editing my own show makes me concentrate on it more. So I feel like I'm saying it less, but then there's just one episode where it's just filled with, um,
it's when it happens the most is when you aren't. So you have all
yeah.
these questions prepared. You've done all this research. The more prepared you are, the less you have to rely on those filler words.
Yeah. I'm mixed on it because I think the more I prepare, then it takes away that organic quality from the conversation, becomes more scripted, and that's I don't want that.
Well, you
For the
just got to
pod.
find that
Yeah.
sweet spot of.
Yeah.
So all the late night TV shows, they over prepare like crazy, but if things go sideways, they're ready for it and they're willing to change their plan on a whim. That's the tough part, is knowing when it's worth it to change your plan.
Yeah. Need to be able to improve. Do you like any of these talk show hosts?
Yeah, I like them all. Conan is one of my
One's my
favorites.
favorite.
And I like Jimmy Kimmel because he started out in radio. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I am annoyed with how political all the late night shows have gotten because they all have the same opinion on everything. So you're not hearing anything different from anyone. They're all just kind of on the same side of every topic. And I don't mind political humor. It's just I think they get really condescending sometimes, and that annoys me. Uh, I like that Conan doesn't do that. He's the only one that doesn't, and so it kind of separates him from the group. I like Seth Meyers. I like Jimmy Fallon. I like them all for different reasons. Is there anybody who a lot of people like in the U.S. that I never really got into is Craig Kilborn. He's all I think he's Australian. And he's like an older dude. He's on it late at night, and he's the only one that I just never really connected with. But I think it's because his show, he just kind of flies off the cuff with everything. He's just 100% improv, it
Right.
seems like.
It reminds me of Craig Ferguson, actually.
That's who I meant, Craig Ferguson. Yeah, Craig Kilborn was a really old guy. Craig Ferguson, yeah.
The Scottish guy. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Scottish. He's not Australian, is he?
No, he's
Is he
not.
Scottish?
He's Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one, right?
All white people sound the same to me.
Yeah, I used to like him. I
feel like I could say that because I'm halfway.
Yeah, you can. I wish I could. Anyway.
My mom's Irish and Finnish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
But in the US,
And
you would
even
never
then-
say that. You would just be like, oh, that's a white lady.
You wouldn't say, isn't there a thing like Irish Catholic where it's like a big cultural identity?
Yeah, but you would never, if somebody's asking me about my mom in the US, I just go, yeah, she's white. And my dad's Jordanian. But if somebody was to ask me here, even still, my mom in the US, it just doesn't, because there's no culture or accents or anything that's brought from those countries, it doesn't make as much sense to bring it up.
I see. Makes sense. Yeah. I used to feel like, because Conan always stresses on being Irish Catholic, and I thought,
Well, that dude is Irish. He's different because he's got the red hair. I mean, it is
Yeah.
like
O'Brien.
He is very Irish. So it's a little bit different, but it's still, he doesn't have any culture that you would expect from somebody living in Ireland, and that's what makes it different.
I see. Okay, so we were talking about being on radio, being live on the air, bringing it back. I do love these digressions, though, I must say. I've got none of these scripted.
Yeah,
so
man. Feel free. Just go. Be free and
Yeah,
just start.
just-
If you just think of another question that has nothing to do with what you plan,
My para.
talk about that for another hour.
Oh, that's tough for an engineer to do. He's got everything.
Oh yeah, It's
scripted
gonna
out.
be. You'll get there.
I'll get there. Yeah. Okay, so while we're talking about being on the air, do you have one story that comes to your mind? Something really crazy happened while you were live?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much I can talk about it without sounding like a jerk. It was in 2000, maybe 10, maybe 2009, and it was just a different time back then. But it wasn't my show. I was the producer on a show and the host of the show. So this is not me. I just want to make that very clear. I did not do this. Used to do a segment in New York City where you could say anything and it doesn't faze anyone. He did a segment called called the STD call out, where you could pretty much call up and tell everybody who you met that had an STD so that other people wouldn't date them. So people would call up and say like, oh, Mike in Staten Island, he's got gonorrhea, hephalitis, or whatever he had. And there was a time that the person heard it and they got really upset, and it was a lawsuit. It was very, yeah, it turns out you can't really. But the thing is, I don't think it went anywhere because Mike from Staten Island, there's a million of those. So there's no way that you can pinpoint it to one person. So I don't think it went anywhere. But that's probably one of the craziest things, is that we were all kind of brought into an office like, hey, you guys can't go around telling everybody who has STDs. So that is probably one of the crazier things.
Yeah, shocker, right? Who knew that you couldn't do that?
Yeah.
I'm very curious. So you've pointed out a lot of different elements about working on radio. You're also a podcaster now.
Yeah.
So what are the different set of skills that you require for podcasting, and how does it differ from radio?
So with podcasting, on the radio, you're playing songs. You pretty much have the way the breakfast shows that I've done have been formatted are, you talk for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, hope that you can get people's attention, entertain them for 2 or 3 minutes, get them to maybe interact with you, and then let them go and let them listen to music. With a podcast, you're not playing music typically. You're just going. And so I've had to get better at flowing from one subject to the next without it getting weird. And I think that's just difficult. And I have the same problem that I think you have, where you have this stuff that you want to talk about, and then if the conversation goes in a different direction, you have to force yourself to let it go in that direction. That's not easy, as I'm sure you're noticing. But I'll help. I'll try to put as
I
many
think it's a
tangents as
breeze.
possible.
Oh, this I can do this all day.
Yeah. So that's what's different. Podcasting also, I do video, and so I didn't realize how homeless I look most of the time, and I've really had to start being conscious of trying to look more presentable. This is my bad side, by the way. So
Ouch.
just want to point that out. If you're watching this, I'm much more attractive from the other side. Here, as a matter of fact, can I just
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
show you?
Oh, what a world of difference. No.
Look at that. Look at that. So just remember this when you're watching the rest and go, oh, okay, yeah.
That's a good tagline, right? Because they already like what they see, and they're like, "Oh, that's not even his good side."
Oh, it's not even the good side. Yes, I think that's different. And what podcasting, the technical aspect of it all, just trying to figure out what equipment to use and how to make the sound good, how to make the video look good. If you put it on YouTube, what thumbnails to use, how to title it, all the metadata, search engine optimization. It's enough to make your head spin, and I'm still learning so much. And it seems like every time I learn something, there's a million things that I didn't know about that I now have to research. As I was researching the one little thing, I found 20 other things I have no idea about that I have to look up. So that's a challenge. Setting up my own website and figuring out how to make a members page and how to monetize the podcast. So what I do on mine is I have the first 15 to 20 minutes are free. And then if you're a member, you get the extra 5 to 10 minutes that's on after that, or however long it goes. I just kind of adjust it based on the time of the total episode. But to do that, you got to be a paying member. But the first 15 to 20 minutes are free, so there's plenty of chance to get it out there to people who just want to consume that first little bit without. I mean, the people who are subscribers are people who aren't doing it necessarily because they want to see that extra content, even though that is the best content because it's the stuff I make sure my parents don't subscribe. So I can really say a lot. The people who subscribe, I've noticed, are the ones that just really want to support me. And that's really helpful. So learning a lot of things like that has been the big difference between podcasting and radio, which radio I've been doing for so long that it's kind of second nature.
Yeah, you would imagine that someone who's so good on radio podcasting would just come naturally to you, but there's so many different elements.
The technology part.
Yeah, that is a pain.
Yeah,
massive pain.
We were talking about your camera. You made the same mistake I made where I got a DSLR camera, and then you realize, oh, there's a rule with DSLRs where they can only record for 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And then you got, I'm sorry, did you not want people to know?
No, it's fine. No,
Okay.
I actually didn't get it. I knew it existed. I was just making a call between the phone and the DSLR, and then I was like, I live with the issues it has. At least it gives
you
me...
knew. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was making... So a friend had a DSLR, so I just borrowed it, tested it out, and I was like, okay, I've got the pros here and the cons here, and I would rather see you in HD on the screen.
Yeah.
Even though that's your bad side.
Even though my bad side.
Yeah. And then I prefer that instead of the phone issues. Phones in general, like... I think they're good for short form, but like if you start recording 1 hour plus, then things start going haywire.
I think it's good as a backup angle.
Yeah. So what I was planning to do is keep my phone as just your shot, and then it started heating up. So I thought, you know what, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Once I don't know, Tim Hortons starts sponsoring this podcast, then get all the equipment in.
What a specific endorsement to request.
Yeah, why not? They could sponsor podcasts.
Yeah, but what about Tim Hortons? What made you think of Tim Hortons just now?
I mean,
that's hilarious.
Why
what a
not?
Random business.
I mean, why not?
Do you like Tim Hortons? Is there a story there?
No, I don't.
It just randomly came into your head.
I don't drink coffee, so in fact, I think there's a better chance of them sponsoring me than, I don't know, Burger King.
Yeah, but I mean, there's local businesses. You'd be surprised. I think you could actually get sponsors with local businesses here. You'd be really surprised, especially
Al Malda Cafeteria looking at you.
Hey, that's reasonable though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you not drink coffee?
I don't know.
Why?
Why are you looking at me like he's damaged?
Yeah, why don't you drink
I don't know,
coffee?
just never got into it. And then...
Have you ever drank coffee?
Have you
ever had it?
Yeah, on occasions. I mean, I'm not...
You just don't enjoy it?
It's just I never got the habit of it. So, and now I've seen people who just can't function.
Yeah.
The day doesn't begin until they have coffee. So I'm just like, yeah,
So yeah, you're putting
keep.
it off so that you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it, and
That's
then
smart.
and it's like if I don't need it, then why get addicted to that rush?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just tea, coffee, none of that. Yeah, never liked it.
You know what it is? There's something about it's the social aspect of coffee that I like.
Yeah.
You can, because I'm not a big drinker, and so it's nice when you can get coffee with somebody instead of, getting hammered with them.
Yeah. Imagine my difficulty. So actually never this is the 10th episode, 9th episode, and I've never had this. So I don't drink as well. And I was based in the UK and every
How do you
single
do that? How do you live
yeah,
out there?
it's either get a pint or get a coffee, and I didn't do either. So
So people would just be like, we're not inviting you.
yeah, just die alone.
Yeah.
Just live my homemade's life. Yeah.
Man, yeah,
Green
that's
tea,
tough.
anyone? Yeah, it is tough. It
That's
is
tough.
very tough.
That's the
Yeah.
problem I have. I really, really want to, I think, marry somebody from the UK or maybe Australia, somewhere with like one of those accents, and it would just be nice to be able to live in those countries. Opens up the job market for me, if I get fired. So, yeah, but I just can't keep up because I'm old and I can't keep up with the partying. Can't do it. And so I'd like to, if I could meet somebody that was from the UK or Australia or New Zealand or South Africa. I like the South Africa accent. If I could meet one of them, but that didn't party a lot. I mean, I can handle it Thursday nights. Let's do it, but I need 2 days to recover.
I see it's the accents that are the main priority over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like but really, I'm just about any accent. I'm kind of intrigued by because you don't get that many accents in the U.S.
Really, the southern.
You do, but it's not exotic ones. You get the southern,
Yeah.
which is not.
Can
It's
you
not
do-
exotic.
let's hear your southern accent.
Oh, I can do it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh man. Oh, y'all got the nicest apartment. This is. Is that? Do you have Apple? Is that an Apple laptop over there? That is. Look at that. You got books. Do you know how to read? Oh my goodness. Look at Cheryl. Cheryl, this little brown boy knows how to read.
A
That's
little
like-
brown one. Yeah.
That's what it would be like if you're
add
in the
the
South.
southern touch to it. Yeah.
Have you ever been to the U.S.?
I have. My brother's based in California, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Have you ever been to the south of the U.S.? The
I
southern
haven't.
part. Oh,
No.
it's a different experience.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah.
Which state do you recommend I start with?
I would say if you want a real southern experience, I would say the smaller the city, the better. In Tennessee, Louisiana, or Texas. But Texas, you can't go to Austin, you can't go to Dallas, you can't go to Fort Worth, you can't go to San Antonio. That's not the southern experience. You got to go to a small city in Texas. And then you get like a whole different culture and really good food.
Oh,
Really good
interesting.
food.
Yeah, definitely have it. All of them are on my bucket list, I guess. So I have to go at some point. Yeah, but I was planning the bigger cities: Austin, Dallas,
Nah,
New
man.
Orleans, Louisiana.
Go
Yeah.
to a small city.
Memphis, Elvis, right?
Memphis is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elvis is cool. He
Yeah.
died a while ago,
Yeah,
but everybody still checks out his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
Rock
There's
and
just-
roll.
There's a different experience to be had everywhere. Now, if you go to a small city, you might be the only dude of our complexion that walks in, and that's a cool experience to have because people are curious about you. You get that southern. Oh my gosh, where are you from? You are so. Look at your hair. That is it just stays like
Oh,
that.
they don't have hair there.
They just get very excited by people
right.
that are different. I remember, I mean, I had friends in the South that they were like, man, I hope I can meet an Asian one day. Like they just don't, it just depends on where you are. But the small cities, yeah, they don't get a lot of people that move in from different cultures.
Right. This is what you want to tap into when you marry someone from UK or Australia. Can you do the
Yeah.
Australian accent?
Nope, I can't do any
I
accents.
love these accents. I can do a very bad one. It's like, right on, mate. This is City Santa. He's a wonderful player. What a wonderful, beautiful guy. I reckon.
That's not bad. Mine
Is it?
isn't good. I can't do it.
I love it. They're very good at cricket, and I like cricket. So whenever I hear the captain speak or something like that, oh, it's a wonderful die. It's a beautiful sunny die, mate.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, I can't do any accents, and when I do them, people cringe. So I
Oh,
won't.
your southern one was on
That's the only one I can do because I can't do any of the UK, the
Wow.
Australia, Indian. I can't do any of them.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Because I don't want people to stop watching.
your partner will teach you. Yeah. You will
Yeah.
learn learn every day.
I'll get better. Because
Yeah.
every American, what they do when they try to do, especially the UK accent, is they all just sound like Mary Poppins. They all just sound like Dick Van Dyke. And they just make it sound so obnoxious and over the top. And
Yeah.
it's just not what people in the UK sound like.
They always do the one, the hello, governor, that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
most stereotypical one. I used to like in Manchester, they had the northern accent. So it was up north in it. So it was, I took the bus. Yeah, that was there. I never actually got the differences in the London accent and the Manchester one, the Birmingham accent. It was all very different.
Now that I can tell, I can tell a Brummie accent.
Yeah, I mean, this came later in life. I just thought there's a British accent, and
Oh.
then when I got there and people were just talking, they were like, "Oh, you're from Liverpool." I was like, "Oh, how do you get that? He's just speaking English, right?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and the Cockney accent. Oh, I used to love that. Ooh, yeah, that stuff. Oh, Snatch. I'm not sure if it was that movie. Guy
Yeah.
Ritchie movies are just filled with Cockney accents. Michael Caine. That fascinates me. Those
Yeah.
kind of accents. Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about podcasting. Although I must say, I'm enjoying these digressions that you're taking me down.
I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, the engineer in me is rebelling. It's crying to come back to structure. Anyway, we were talking about podcasting.
Yeah.
We're talking about the kind of skills that you require when you're podcasting and when you're on radio. Let's say I had a crystal ball here, and you're looking into the future, and you're looking into 2050. Do you think radio, as we know it, does it exist still?
No,
Doesn't exist.
no, probably not. It's not the same, or it probably would. What I've noticed is the best radio stations, the ones that are doing well, are adopting other forms of media really well. So there's some radio stations in the U.S. that they're becoming event like a platinum list type thing, where they plan all these events and they promote events, and then they just happen to have a radio station behind them, but they're making a lot of revenue from throwing different events. And then that's working really well. And then another model I've seen working is where the on-air talent will also be journalists, and they'll write articles for the radio station website that get a lot of traction and get them a lot of website sales. And I've seen that work really well. So I think that any radio station that wants to make it, at least in the US, I don't want to speak about the UAE. The UAE is different. People listen to the radio here a little bit more. But in the US, everybody that's making it has adopted some other form of something.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think more people listen to?
Because there's more options to advertise now, and there's more options for what to listen to. So you have podcasts now, you have Spotify, you have iTunes, all these different things are available not only to listen to, but to advertise. And so you've really got to tap into something else.
No, sorry. My question was, why do you think more people listen to radio still in the UAE?
Oh, in the UAE?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think maybe it's just a little bit more behind as far as listening habits. And in the UAE, you can hear. In the US, the mistake they made was a lot of syndication. And so radio stations pretty much sounded the same from city to city, except for some companies. And in the UAE, all the radio stations here sound very UAE. They're all talking about local stuff. And so I think that helps a lot. And if you want to hear about the country that you live in, that's a great place that you can go. So I think that being local and having UAE stations sound like UAE stations, that helps a lot. I think that's also keeping listeners for a little bit longer.
It's very interesting because when I was in the UK, I used to always think that I used to miss the UAE radio just for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know, at the back of mind, there were certain things that I loved about UK, and I didn't like the weather, I didn't like the food, I liked the UAE food more, like the weather better. Yeah, I grew up in the heat, right?
Yeah.
And there's just one other thing. When I used to sit in the car, it should just be like, oh man, the radios in UAE are so much better. It's just
Really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we have a lot of range in Indian radios as well, and then we have the English ones, so I could just move around whatever I'm feeling for the day, right?
Right.
And in the UK, I just had just the British ones, right? So I felt like
Okay.
I missed that range. And
Yeah.
now when I came back to Dubai, I just stopped listening to radio, started listening to podcasting. So I just used to select my podcast and put it on. I was like, remember that when I used to say like, oh, when I come back to Dubai, I'll just listen to the radio all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people mostly listen when they're driving.
Yeah.
And so it's just like there's just more competition out there for us. But yeah, in the UAE, I think that they just enjoy that it's for them.
So talking about radio as well, and you mentioned you might not see it exist the way it does now, and it's ironic because that was the first major form of broadcast media that came about. I'm very curious to, because this is the same debate they're having with Netflix and normal cable television, where you feel like Netflix, you have more choice, but that can also work against it. They say there's a paradox of choice where people don't always want the burden of having to choose something to put on. You can just,
That's true. That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
And you've mentioned in the past that if you're going for a shorter journey, if I'm also going for a very short journey, 10 to 15 minutes, I might just put the radio on
Yeah.
rather than having to choose something that, or if something was already playing the last time, that can play again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just put the radio on. Give me whatever you're playing.
It's like when you go to a restaurant, I get very annoyed with restaurants that have really big menus because I'm just like, don't make me figure out if I want Asian food or Arabic food. Pick one, pick a lane and be really good at that. That way all your dishes are good. Because also there's no way you have fresh ingredients to make food from 57 different countries. There's no way you got, the right stuff for all these different dishes. So it's nice when I see restaurants, especially in the UAE, get small menus because I'm just like, oh, this is actually relieving. Gives me
Yeah.
anxiety having all those choices.
Yeah, same here. So I'm very curious like how it would turn out. I feel like radio will survive, but it will not be as big as well. It will probably be just like a smaller segment, and then podcast will be one segment, and then whatever else comes up.
I don't know, man. I'm not really good at predicting the future. I
Oh, you're not? Oh.
No, I think like I said, the more different avenues radio can get into, the better. And I think that radio has already and will continue to incorporate more podcasting in. That way listeners have they'll be exposed to, like, for example, our breakfast show. They'll be exposed to our breakfast show. And then if they really like it and they want to hear more, we have the Breakfast Show's podcast. So you can hear more of us just talking, and stuff like that will help radio kind of make its way into the future.
I think it's fascinating because if you see newspapers like now, the physical paper is just a front for the actual media website that they're running on.
Yeah,
right?
it's
And so,
gone now.
yeah, and the main revenues from the advertisements that come on the website and all the SEO and the SEO from there. All right, perfect. So let's talk about dance.
Okay.
So you've been the host of the Breakfast Show, and it's been centered around dance music for a long time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was when I first moved to Dubai,
Yeah.
and for almost a year, I did the breakfast show there, and it was all dance music, which was a lot of fun. I liked EDM before, but when I started working there, I really got more into it. They sent us to Tomorrowland. We got to broadcast from Tomorrowland, which was so much fun. I got to interview all these artists. I got to interview Fede Legrand. I got to interview. I met Paris Hilton. I got to just talk to all these really cool EDM artists, and that was kind of a once in a lifetime experience. And that made me, stuff like that makes me glad that I decided to risk everything and move out to another country.
Can we explore that? Which is one, you've met so many celebrities, which is one celebrity encounter that you always remember that's been your favorite, that you always look back on fondly? Or not fondly, maybe just one that sticks out to you. Maybe it was a very crazy experience.
Celebrities. I met Eminem's. I used to hang out with Eminem's half brother in Detroit, and I did club promotions for the radio station. So before I was on the air and I had my own show, and he would always go to all the ones that we were promoting. So we would run into Eminem's half brother all the time. We used to call him Partial Mathers, and he hated that. He could not stand that. So if you ever meet Eminem's half brother, don't call him Partial Mathers, even though it's clever and hilarious. And I think
Shit.
that was, and one of my friends threw up on his coffee table at his apartment.
It just adds up for him, man.
Yeah.
All of them.
And I think that's a cool celebrity experience. I feel like I have more, but
You
none
met
of
Ed
them-
Sheeran in the past, I believe. You've met
Yeah.
Paris Hilton, you mentioned.
Yeah, I
What
met
were they
Ed
like?
Sheeran. I met Panic at the Disco. I met Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan. His name is spelled so uniquely. It's always hard for me to. Brendan Urie. I met those guys. I met a lot of people. I mean, just about everybody. But you know what? No, I remember now. This is the best experience I've ever had. I was introducing 3-6 Mafia at a festival called Music Fest in Memphis. 90,000 people. I was up on stage introducing 3-6 Mafia, and it was raining and there's mud all over. And so you just wear clothes it rains almost every year for this festival. So you wear clothes you don't really care about. So I had this Mickey Mouse t-shirt from Target that I was wearing and these boots. And I went up on stage and I was just like, yeah, get ready. We got 3-6 Mafia. And they come out and uh, one of them, I don't even know who it was because I was just so out of it. He was like, yeah, I've never been introduced by a dude in a Mickey Mouse t-shirt before. And he had me come back out on stage
Oh,
and he was
nice.
like, what's up, man? Why are you wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt? And I was just like, do you guys not like Mickey Mouse? And they were like, nah, Mickey Mouse is the shit. And then everybody was like, Mickey Mouse. And that was cool.
They lost the crowd.
No, they loved it.
Oh,
The crowd will chill for
well,
anything.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
I used to go up there and I used to be like, yo, let's give it up for Orange Crush and Swisher Sweets, which if you're from the US, you know what that's
Oh,
about.
yeah,
It's
Slim Jims.
Yeah, I can't really talk about it, but yeah, so it's people will cheer for anything
All right.
when they're at a music
I was
festival.
like, don't go against Mickey Mouse now. Boo, get off stage.
Yeah.
You insulted our
Nah,
hero.
they're cool with all of it. So that was a cool experience. I mean, I know I've had cool experiences with celebrities.
Well, if they come to you, just let
Yeah,
we
I'll let
can-
you know,
we-
but-
anyway, we are digressing off the
No,
main script. So anything that comes up, just you can stop me right there and be like, "Oh, remember when I met 50 Cent and he said this?"
I met
Yeah.
Fetty Legrand and he was asking me, it was after I moved here, and he was asking me how I got, because he has that song, Put Your Hands Up for Detroit.
Right.
And so he was asking me about Detroit. He's like, how did you get from Detroit to Dubai? And I said, oh, I just took a direct flight with Emirates. And I genuinely thought I was really tired. And he just looked at me and he's like, I know how to travel.
Yeah.
He was like, your career. That was a fun moment for
Well,
me.
you could have taken the boat, right? So you just clarified it.
Yeah.
I think you did the right thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe you walked it. Who knows? Okay, so while we're on dance, if I had to ask you to pick your favorite dance track from every decade, we'll start from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and onwards.
Okay.
What would be one track that always gets you on the dance floor?
I don't really know the decades that well, but I think 90s would be Fetty Legrand. Let me think about it. It's probably my favorite EDM song of all time. And what decades are we doing?
Or just let's just do top 5 maybe then if you don't want.
Okay.
I don't know the decades as well. That's
Yeah,
not-
let's. So Fetty Legrand. Let me think about it. I would have to do Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. I'm sorry, I'm picking all these Fetty Legrand. Fatboy Slim, Praise You. I love that song. Barbara Streisand by Duck Sauce. Body, Body, Loud Luxury. And this is tough. Why would you ask me
Well,
this?
we already got 5 by the way, so
Yeah.
we have done the list.
Yeah. And then yeah, and I want to choose my songs carefully because there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot riding on this.
It is.
I would say, it's Work, the Gigamesh remix.
I don't know.
Look that song up. It'll be
I
your
will.
favorite song to work out to of all time.
I'll make a playlist of all these recommendations and
Yeah.
like Nuggets playlist.
Yeah,
That's for everyone.
definitely do that.
Okay, perfect. So we have all the songs. The next segment is called the Idea Incubator.
Okay.
And in this segment, I asked my guests to share an idea,
This is some
concept.
engineering shit if I've ever heard it, this idea.
Yeah,
This is a
well,
very engineering part of the podcast.
You know, my parents are watching this and they're crying, right? Because it's like engineer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in this segment, I asked my guests to share like an idea, concept, theory, or a story that has had a very profound impact in their life. And you've chosen to share a story about how you were freed from financial stress when you became homeless.
Yeah. So I was homeless for a little while in Chicago when I was 20. I just moved out of my parents' house and I didn't have a plan. I was really dumb. But I knew that I wanted to go out there and make something of my life. I was like, I'm going. And I didn't want to admit that I failed. So my parents, I don't know if I've ever told them this. So they talking to my parents every week. And I was like, oh yeah, everything's going great. I had a gym membership. I took $200, a suitcase and nothing else. And I had a gym membership so I could take showers at the gym and not look homeless for job interviews. And I just slept on the train. Yeah, for in the winter in Chicago for 2 weeks. And then I finally found these guys. Once I found a job, I found these 2 college guys that were down to let me live with them and pay them at the end of the month rather than the beginning. And I'm still friends with one of them to this day. The other one I kind of lost touch with, but still friends with one of them. And whenever you're homeless, once you bounce back from that without any help really, you never really worry about money again because you're like, well, I'll be fine. Even if I have to be homeless again, I know how to do it and get out of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I recommend it for everybody. Yeah, you should try it.
If there's one thing you need to do in life,
Yeah,
then
be homeless for a little bit because I feel like a lot of us stress out about finances so much, and I still do because I don't like being in debt. I don't like using my credit cards for stuff. Uh, and especially in the UAE, they put you in this position to where you almost have to take out loans because they want you to pay for rent, 4 checks, 1 check, ridiculous. And so, yeah, just being homeless really freed me from having to really stress out about it. Like I think I would be if it wasn't for that experience.
very interesting. So you went to like the point of maximum fear, danger, which you in your mind you hype off like, oh, what happens if I can't pay rent? You've been
I was
there.
gonna join I went into one of those military recruiting offices, and I was gonna join the military because I couldn't find a job that would pay enough, and for me to make rent. And I finally found a job just serving, which was fine. And I was gonna join the military. And I remember leaving the office where you meet with the person in the military who kind of gives you a consultation and tells you what to expect and what the next steps are. And I remember leaving. It was raining. It was very cold in Chicago, and a cab went by me and splashed a puddle up on me, like in the movies. And I started crying. And then another cab came by and splashed another puddle on me. And then I started laughing like a maniac because at that point I was like, this is a movie. So crazy. And I, also, I'm probably a little bit of a psychopath, so I just started laughing. And I think a couple days later, maybe a day or two later, is when I found the job and I found those guys that let me move in with them. But yeah, I could be in this region for a completely different reason right now if it wasn't for me finding that job.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So you like that moment was like your rock bottom, and then after that, things just went uphill for you from there.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what do you do for food? How did
I have
you?
money now. I just buy groceries like everybody
No,
else.
not now. When you were sleeping on the train.
Oh. Oh, what did I do? What
This
did
is
I
the
do?
this is the moment where I just took a flight from the train.
Okay, yeah. All right, I got
Yeah.
yeah. What did I do for food? I had $200.
Right.
So I would just buy I had peanut butter and I just bought peanut butter and uh I would just eat I had a jar of peanut butter that I kept in my suitcase that I would just eat out of. And that was because it's high calorie and it would sustain you for a while. And so that was it. I just ate peanut butter all day for about 2 weeks. And then I treated myself once in a while. I got a Subway sandwich
Right. You need to have those.
on Fridays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cheat
I
meals.
was like, I'm going nuts. I got to have something. And that was kind of what I splurged on before I got my job.
Very hard for me to imagine because I've never been homeless, but you are
You
recommending
should
it.
try it. Yeah. Give it a shot, man.
Yeah, give it a shot. Yeah. Yeah. Financial freedom in 3 weeks or less, or you're getting money back, I guess. Yeah, you can start this kind of a course. Homelessness. Yeah. Just put people out there. Make a reality
Make
show.
it, but charge people money like it's one of those retreats, like a homeless experience retreat.
Yeah, why
I
not?
bet people would do it. I
Yeah,
bet
like-
people would be suckers for it.
like
Hey,
this
if you
is-
see it, just know you've given you the heads up. It's a complete scam.
You can be homeless for 3 weeks. It's $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's a very interesting story, actually. I'm always fascinated by these kind of stories where you are pushed to your limit and you end up finding something about you. And then that is the reason why you've probably now achieved so much is because you have something inside you that you've seen the worst. It can't be that bad, but you also don't want to revisit that. So you're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to do that again if you don't have to.
yeah. That's why I'm happy that you shared this story. And I'm pretty sure people can take some lessons from it. Maybe they want to get homeless. That's up to them. But I feel like even if you just
Should get a sound effect for this segment. The idea incubator, like the news, like the little,
do you want to record one for it?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, but
It'll be in your email.
with the invoice, I guess.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so let's talk about our final topic that I've got here, which is dating and relationships. You are a kind of love guru on your podcast about these things. So you highlight different.
Oh no, I don't. I mean, I talk about it because I think it's interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I find that single people always try to give advice on dating, and it always sucks because they're all single.
Well,
Do you give advice? Are you single?
I was hyping you up as the master of love,
Oh,
and you were
really?
just like, "Oh no, not me."
I definitely have some perspectives that I feel like a lot of people have agreed with that I've told to, but again, like, what do I know?
Right. Well, So what I wanted to check with you was, firstly, I think this topic is of great interest in the region,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure why, but I feel maybe because there's a larger
Well,
expat
it's difficult
community.
out here. That's why.
Right. I used to think that because there's a lot of expats here and they moved away from friends and family, so they look for dating or relationships as a way of filling in a void in their life.
Uh, no, I think people do that anyway. I think people do that even when they're living in their hometown. Uh, and I, it seems natural to a lot of the people that are out here are young professionals or just professionals. And so they've kind of got the career part of their life figured out. And now that's the logical next thing you would want to get sorted out. And so that's what's weird about here is you've got all these people that typically they're a little bit older. You don't meet a lot of people that I don't meet a lot of young people in Dubai, do you?
Yeah, I'm just surrounded by young people. I mean, what do you mean by young?
I mean young like maybe 20. Even when you go out, it's not like you don't meet 23 and younger really.
Really?
Do you?
I guess because I'm mainly surrounded. My circles, are, I guess, younger. I
Okay.
would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I never anywhere meet people and they're like 23 younger than that. Normally it's people I guess depending on their job, but I meet way more young professionals that are kind of like 26, 27, 28 that move out here for work. And so I think that has something to do with it. It's the real problem out here is you have to get to know somebody and have so much confidence in them in your relationship that you're willing to know that at some point you're going to move to their country or they're going to move to yours. And a lot of people out here, because they're here for their career, don't have enough time to invest in somebody to where they really know. And so it's so easy to just break things off because you're like, I don't even really know if this is going to work or not. I don't know how annoying you would be if I had to see you every day. So I think that's what makes it difficult. I think that uh, the amount of options makes it difficult. You go out to the beach and everybody is just so attractive, and you got to these beach clubs and stuff like you go to zero gravity and you fall in love every 10 minutes. And so I think that makes it tough. Uh, and just how temporary everyone is makes it difficult. So you're like, do I really want to invest in something just to see it go away anyway? Uh, yeah, I think it just makes it really difficult out here. My biggest obstacle is I always have to find somebody that has enough of a work balance life to where I can spend a decent amount of time with them. Like if I can spend 2 to 3 days with somebody a week, then I know after 6 months to a year, okay, like I know this person and I have enough confidence to either leave my job and go with them wherever they need to go, or ask them if they want to come with me wherever I have to go. So I think that's the main obstacle is time out here.
Yeah. I was thinking about the age thing you mentioned. I think this is maybe, I'm not sure if this is relevant, but I feel that happens because in Dubai, I feel like if you have a certain budget, then you will be restricted to a certain area, a certain area of pubs.
Mm,
You don't have those, like the one iconic pub that everyone goes to, no matter if you're rich or poor, right?
yeah.
Because when we were in school or something, I didn't drink, but my friends who used to drink, they had their own pubs that they wanted to go to. When you're in university, then you upgrade slightly. Then you're a young
Ah,
professional, then you upgrade slightly.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the uncles that I know, they go to a different spot. So it just depends on how much you to spend, because in Dubai it can get really expensive,
that's true. Yeah,
and then the views and the ambience also changes accordingly. So maybe that's why.
that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
I think you're partying it up with Paris Hilton while
Yeah,
we
but
are.
at the same time, you got all these ladies'
Yeah,
nights and the ladies' brunches, and it's like for women, there's especially certain nights of the week, they can go anywhere they want, and they're doing just fine. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a coincidence that I've just met people that are a little bit further on in their life.
right. Yeah, very possible. So you did highlight a few elements that are very unique to Dubai about dating here, which you might not find in other places, maybe. So I want to check with you. What has been the worst date that you've been on?
Um, there was a date I went on where the person didn't want to know anything about me. They didn't ask me a question the entire date.
Ouch.
Yeah.
How long was the date?
An hour of us just because it was food, so we had to wait for the food. But what's interesting about that is that they wanted to hang out again, and I'm just like,
But they had a
Why?
great time, right? It was
Yeah.
it's like they're a guest on a podcast, right? It's just
Yeah, I guess. I didn't know why they would want to see me again. So that was weird. Uh I don't really have a ton of bad dates. Most of my dates go okay. Just because if the date isn't going that well, I'm happy to entertain myself using the date. And so I've always had just either a good time with the person or a good time with myself, and the other
internally.
person just happens to be there. Yeah.
All right. Do you use any of these dating apps?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one do you like?
I get on and off them. I think we all have a habit of you get bored, and so you get on one, judge some people, delete it again. Uh, right now, I just got a new phone, so I'm not really on anything.
Do you think it's harder when you're on an app because people are more actively looking for red flags when
Here's
they're
why it's hard on an app, because these women know how hot they are on the app because they see all these options. They get on there, and with their first swipe, they've got like every guy they swipe on, it's a match. And when you're a guy and you go on there, that's not the case. And so all these women, it's like back in the day before social media, they didn't know how insanely good looking they were. Yeah, they would get asked out a lot in public, but they didn't realize the scale. And now all these dope women know that they could have just any dude that they want. And so you're sitting there with your 5'8", 5'9" with Timberlands on, and you're looking up at them going, "Oh yeah, what about me?" And they're like, "Nah, dude, I got options." So I
yeah.
think that makes it really difficult.
That's a great segue because I've got another game for you here.
Oh, okay.
It's a Tinder Bio Game. So I've got a collection of bios here,
All
and I'm
right.
just going to read them out to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them.
Okay.
All right. So I've got a collection of men's bios first, and then we'll move on to the women's one.
Great.
So the first one is this is an interesting one. So the bio says, "I'm a feminist in the streets and a misogynist in the sheets."
This is a dude.
It's yeah.
I don't know what that means, man. Does that mean okay, I guess I kind of get it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, that
Yeah.
would definitely fit somebody's sense of humor, I think.
Yeah. If you were a woman, would you swipe?
Oh man, I don't know. It just depends on that depends. So the thing is, if you're looking for a relationship, you wouldn't swipe on him because he's already talking about going to bed with you. And you haven't even gotten into the chat yet, and he's already talking about sleeping with you. So if you're looking for a relationship, you probably wouldn't swipe on that guy.
Right. Okay. Next one. A lot of
Are
guys.
these your friends?
Yeah, I just went to my friends' profiles.
hilarious.
Yeah. No, how do you know, right?
Oh, okay, all right.
We don't know. Maybe they are. They're watching. They're like, is he talking about me? And they just quickly go and edit it. So there's a common trope that men put in the bios, which is, "I'm 6'4" if you care about height.
Oh, do they do that? I
Yeah.
don't know because I never look through men's profiles.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
No.
That's what I always do. Yeah.
I'm sure you've done it
You should-
because of the show.
Yeah, you should get on Grinder. That's
Oh my God.
my research was Grinder.
Great. So what is it? What do they say?
It's like because there are the tall ones like to boast about their height. So it's like, "I'm 6'2", 6'3" if you care about height or something like that. So,
Okay, I think that's a good move. If a lot of people are doing it, I would say maybe be a little bit more creative. And also, what I've noticed is, I think if you are 6 foot or over, I don't think you really have to put it in your profile because just about anybody's going to be happy with that. It's when you're under that you really need to let people know, hey, you're dealing with a dude that is going to be potentially shorter than you if you got heels on. And so I think, there's some people that don't really want to waste their time with that, which is fine. And I think you should put it, I think you should. I'm annoyed that Tinder doesn't put your height in your profile and let people filter you, because why waste everybody's time? Yeah, there's some people that just don't want to date a guy that's shorter than them, which is completely understandable. Do you want to date a woman that's twice your, let's say you date a woman that's
twice
just
my
built.
ISS is quite tall. So
Do you want to
bullshit.
date a woman that makes you feel small?
I mean, in terms of height, I've never really.
You've never felt small because
I've actually dated women who were taller than me.
Yeah.
It
Did you
didn't-
feel small?
No, I mean, it was
You're
fine.
really secure with yourself. That's great. I'm not that secure.
I mean,
I
I
like to feel like I'm the big one in the, like, I don't
Mm.
want to feel I'm not a big dude. And so being with somebody that's bigger than me, and I don't mean like necessarily even weight or height, but just like a larger structure, it just makes me insecure and I can't get over it. And I've tried, and I'm 32 and it's not going away.
It is fair. I mean, can't change my height now. I wish I was taller, but
Same for
yeah.
women. Like, if you're a woman, why would you ever want to feel big next to some guy that you're with? I
Why-
can't imagine women want to feel big next to their dude.
Why not? It's like my pet. My guy is like, oh, he's my 4 feet 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, isn't he cute?
Yeah.
Just
I've just never, I
take him
mean,
out for a walk.
I don't know. I just think that there's a reason that so many women want guys that are a certain amount taller than them. And I would imagine that's the reason.
Yeah. Speaking as a short guy, I hope that changes. Okay.
No, because I mean, you're entitled to your preferences.
Yeah, sure.
You like stuff that if you said out loud, I'm sure people would be horrified.
Kittens.
You like kittens?
What's wrong? They're so cute. What's wrong?
Like
Actually, I
if
don't
they
like
own
cats.
kittens?
Honestly, I don't like cats. I think they are very insensitive. But puppies for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you like what you like, and I'm sure we all wish we were less shallow, but there's certain things that we look for. Like for me, as long as your upper row of teeth looks good, bottom row of teeth can be as messed up as they need to be. It doesn't bother me at all. But some guys, your smile has to be perfect, or else they're just not interested. And also keep in mind, we're talking about somebody that you've never even met. Looks come into play way more when you don't know anything about them. That's all you have to go off of when you're just swiping left and right. So looks are everything on there until you've met the person. When you meet somebody organically, you're totally more willing to completely ignore these things if you like them. Yeah. But we're just talking about apps right now, right?
And you only see the picture, so that's all you have.
That's
right?
all you got. You don't know
Yeah.
anything about this person.
And the bio.
Yeah, but how much can you tell? What are some other? Do you have more?
I have. The game goes on.
All right, let's do
It's
it.
a 24-hour marathon.
Let's do it.
So the next one is this very common trope that men use, which is I like my women like I like my coffee or like my falafel, hot and sweet. Or
That
something like
person should be kicked off of Tinder.
Ouch.
What is it? What do you say?
Well, no, I mean, I like my women like I like my ex, like I like falafel, whatever,
Yeah.
crunchy or I don't know,
That
hot,
is
sweet and
just-
sour or some nonsense.
It's just not. I mean, unless you're really clever about it, I would encourage dudes to not go with that line on their profile.
Okay, so let's talk about some women's bios now. This
Okay.
is something you have experience in because you have seen many of them, I hope.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the first one is I think your favorite when they say not looking for any bullshit.
Well, it's interesting to me that like there's women that will put in their bio not looking for any assholes, as if some guy is going to look at that and go, "Oh, I'm an asshole. I guess I can't. Oh well."
Yeah, filter that
And
out.
Just the idea that that is a good filter. It's not. It just makes you seem really negative, and it makes me not feel like you're not a normal person. So I don't think that achieves what people that put that in their bio want it to, and it's just nobody's ever the bad guy in their story. So the idea that you're going to be like, no cheaters, there's plenty of guys that cheat that are not going to acknowledge that they're cheaters at all. And they'll be like, nah, I'm done with that now. And they'll swipe right. So all that stuff, I think things like no smokers, that's beneficial. Because if you smoke, that's a very cut and dry, like it'll be obvious that you're lying if you say that you don't smoke and you do. So things like that are helpful. But the idea that some guy's going to be like, well, she said no dickheads, so I guess I'm just out, is just not. You're not going to filter anybody out like that.
Okay, only you're for friendship.
That's a weird thing to do with the dating app. There are apps
Yeah.
for friendship.
Yeah, why would you put that on Tinder, right?
I mean, I'm sure if it works, then cool. I think maybe, I don't know. I wish I could talk to one of the people that put that in their profile and find out what their motives are behind that. Maybe it's that they want to be friends first and have it be more organic before they get into a relationship. And so they're hoping to put that up so that the guys don't try to sleep with them right away. So I kind of respect that. But also, you're going to miss out on. No, I mean, I guess I get it. But
You just want to meet new people.
the thing is, if that's what you want, then just don't make out with the dude when you're out on dates with him. Just have it be a friendship. And when you're actually out, just be like, hey, just, I want to take things really slow and be friends first. And I think that seems more reasonable to a lot of guys than just on this dating app looking for friends. And then it's like a picture of them busting it wide open and shit. So yeah, I think that maybe I like the intention, but I just don't think it's going to maybe get the results that they want.
Yeah. Okay. I have a very interesting bio here. So it says, damn boy, are you my GPA? Because I know I can do better if I actually try.
Yeah, that's clever. I've never heard that one before, so I like that. Yeah, that's good. Is that somebody you know?
We'll never find out.
All right.
There's one person watching this and it's like, oh fuck, I need to change.
Yeah, I like that. I've never heard that. That's clever. You want to hear? I made up a pickup line just for Dubai. It's hey, are you Diwa? Because I want to talk to you on the phone for 3 hours before you tell me it's too late and you can't come over.
Damn, that's very relevant.
Yeah, I made that up. That's mine.
Is that your bio?
No, it's not my bio, but it
Oh.
is because I live in Abu Dhabi, so it doesn't even apply here.
What is the
They have
deal?
ADDC.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And what I've noticed is, sorry in advance, all the women in Abu Dhabi, for some reason, they just the quality of their pictures on all these apps is so terrible. It's like they took a picture and scanned it onto their computer and then put it on their phone. Or they just won't put pictures of themselves. And I'm like, what are you hoping for? If you don't have any pictures of yourself, this is Tinder. It's a very superficial app. Put a picture of yourself. Nobody's gonna like you. It's just to me, it's just like you're just wasting everybody's time.
HD technology hasn't reached Abu Dhabi yet. It's on its way.
Yeah, it's just it's rough out there, and just I don't know. Everybody in Dubai is so good looking that when you go from Abu Dhabi and you're looking at people's profiles, and then you cross the threshold into Dubai, you're just like, oh my god, wow, what is going on out here? But problem with Dubai is, I don't know, it's just so many options, and people are so unstable, especially right now in these times. It's just tough everywhere, man. It's tough everywhere.
It is tough. But back to our Tinder game, I guess.
Oh, is there another bio?
There's another one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought you were ending it on
I like these.
Oh, you like it? Well,
Yeah.
the last one, I think we've already covered it, which is the height thing. But this is what women put. They put, if you are under 6 feet, you know what I call men who are under 6 feet? Friends.
Yeah, I think they're entitled to say that if they want to. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I'm not. Here's my thing. Here's my problem. My only issue is when you are a short woman, you should date somebody who is tall to you. You don't need, if you are 5 foot nothing, you don't need a guy that's 6 feet. You date a guy that's 5'8" and he's still taller than you with heels. It's these 5 foot, these little short women dating the guys that are giants, stealing resources, not just from the short guys, but from their tall female friends that are out there looking for tall guys. This tall women, I talk about this all the time. Tall women have a limited amount of resources if they want a guy that's taller than them. To see one of these guys walking around with one of these short women, it's got to be the most annoying thing in the world to them.
That's true, right? Because the 5'6" guy, he was hoping that the 5'4", but she's gone for the 6 foot.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And they're stealing everybody's resources, and it's just ruining the dating economy.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I'd actually like to start a petition.
Yeah, you can write a book on this.
Change.org or something.
Yeah, you're onto something.
Yeah.
I think you can come with some
There
formulas.
should be a fine. We'll talk to the government and see if we could find people that are dating.
The Nugget theorem or the paradox,
That'd
the
be
Nugget
great.
paradox.
That'd
Yeah,
be
I
great.
think
We'll start writing emails.
amazing. So before we move on to the final stage of questions, I'd love for you to interpret what we have built with the Lego here. I feel like you've done something.
You want me to talk about mine or
Yeah.
yours?
No, yours.
Mine's like a helicopter, I think. It's kind of like, it broke apart when I was making it, but it was kind of a helicopter.
It's a broken helicopter.
Yeah, and then yours is
Oh.
spaghetti bolognese.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's whatever you see in it.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
good.
Oh, does it? Oh, that's great. I never knew
like,
that chef's kiss.
Very elaborate.
Okay, perfect. So, final stage of questions. What are some books, movies, people that have been very strong influences in your life?
I would say the Harry Potter series, the movies, not the books.
Yeah.
And
Wait, you like the movies,
Yeah.
not the books?
No, I've never read
Oh.
the books.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why would you read the books when there's movies available?
Well, they came out first.
Yeah, but I wasn't. I was just like, I'm gonna wait for the movies.
I think you're
'Cause-
the only one.
Yeah, I just don't. I watch them with the subtitles on.
Right.
Yeah, but people
That doesn't count as reading a book. I'm not sure.
I just don't like. I just don't enjoy reading like I used to. I used
Sure.
to when I was younger, and now I'm like, this feels like a waste of time. I don't like having to. Why make my imagination work? Why not just let it relax?
Let someone else do it for you.
Why-
Pay them
yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, all these people, keep the actors employed. They're struggling. So
What a noble thought, right?
the Harry Potter movies, I would say, Schitt's Creek, the TV show. What am I supposed to be talking about?
Just movies, books, people that have been very strong role models, influences in your life.
I would say my original radio crew. There's this guy named Evan Paul, who
Shout out.
Yeah, Evan Paul, Buster, Nick Wise, and Phil Becker, and then Dom Theodore. There's all these like people that were kind of mentors in my life.
Mhm.
This dude named Mojo, who did the first morning breakfast show that I ever interned for. And so all of that crew, I would say, mentors are so important in general. It Without mentors, I feel like you just have less to with anything. If you have somebody around that's better than you, it makes you better. And so I owe a lot of people for making me better.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
What would you like your legacy to be like?
Oh, I don't think I need to have one. I think I'm okay without having a legacy. Like if I die and everybody just kind of forget, that would be fine.
Oh, that's a great legacy.
It's not important to me at all.
That's perfect.
Should it be?
It shouldn't.
No?
No, I mean,
do you want a legacy?
I do, but then I feel it can also get very burden. It can be a big burden on you as well.
Yeah, I don't. That sounds stressful.
No, I mean that's a great way to live. I mean, if you don't want it, then I mean everyone has their own way, right? I think you will enjoy life a lot more if you're not thinking about what you're gonna.
And what happens if you work your whole life to build this legacy and then people just remember you as like a piece of shit?
Michael Jackson.
Yes. Yeah.
Bill Cosby. All of these guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, man, it just sounds like a lot of work for something that you could easily mess up.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question. I guess it's slightly relevant. What do you think is the meaning of life?
Oh man. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. It probably has something to do with food, I would say. Yeah, probably something to do. I don't want to just narrow it down to just eating, but it's probably got a lot to do with food because it just seems like it makes everybody happy.
What would be like this one meal that whenever you're eating it, you're like, this is life. I don't want anything else.
I would say pizza with probably crushed up Doritos. What I would do is not the Detroit pizza. I would do probably pizza. I would lay down the pizza, put the Doritos down, a layer of Doritos, put another pizza on top of it, and then have the slices like that, like a little sandwich with the Doritos in it. And I think that would be my what is it called? The meal you get before you die if you go to prison and they sentence you to death.
I've not gone, so I don't know yet.
Well, it's in all the movies and stuff. It's like your last meal. Your last meal.
Oh.
They don't call it anything fancy.
Oh, that sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
If that's your meaning, then I want to be part of that meaning of life.
Yeah. The going to jail and dying part too.
The sandwich and the Doritos was where I was going. Wait, which pizza are we talking about? Is there any particular one? Or?
Yeah, there's a pizza from my childhood that's not the best pizza, but like we were talking about earlier, it's nostalgic. And so I think I have a special connection with this place called Hungry Howie's that is a Detroit-based pizza chain, but it's not Detroit style. It's just regular. But they do crust that's flavored. They do like a butter cheese crust with butter and Parmesan cheese. That's really good, yeah.
A shout out. Well, now that we've called them out, they can sponsor the show.
Yeah, Hungry Howie's if you're looking for some Dubai Dubai customers.
You can open a chain here maybe if you like.
Hey, maybe one day.
One day. All right. Nugget, thank you so much for coming to the show. If people want to find you online in person, where can they find you?
Yeah, it's really easy. All my links are at getyourlifetogetherpodcast.com.
So just go there.
Yeah.
That's
it.
I'll just give them your link tree and then they can
My
figure
link
it out.
tree's on my Instagram at Nugget in the AM.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's where you know where to find you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, Nugget.
Both of those places are an easy way to do it.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so
man.
much.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Great.
Is this your longest podcast?